Welcome to part 2, All for Songs. We just had Nathan Moore as a guest, and we are going to have Billy Strings in just a few minutes. Took a little longer to restart this time. Instagram has changed some of the software. I was able to add the story to IGTV instead of my story or the show, which maybe means it'll stay there instead of just being a 24-hour thing. That could be cool because I've been screenshotting the videos to add them to YouTube, and it takes a lot of time and it's not the awesomest quality. So we'll see. It could be different this week. Things are changing. Okay. I am going to play the song More of Me. Now, I had some requests for this last week when I asked, or 2 weeks ago, I guess it was, but Greensky Bluegrass says, "Yep, that's what it means." Thanks, Dylan. So should I still keep adding them to YouTube, or do I just let them live in Instagram? People tell me they can't watch the show because they don't have Instagram, and I just advise them to create an Instagram just to watch the show. You don't have to become a scroll troll like the rest of us. Okay, More of Me was requested, and that makes me happy. Greensky doesn't play More of Me too often. It's so dramatic. I don't know why it doesn't work in a show so much, but we kind of feel that way. Not necessarily that people don't like it, or it's just like so dramatic. And I realized once when we placed it after time that it's like very Pink Floyd dramatic. I listened to a lot of Pink Floyd as a teenager, and I still do. I love Pink Floyd, but it's like this melding of the psychedelic rock and roll and like super depressing dark lyrics, like The Wall, all of it really. If any of you haven't heard the Final Cut, the album that follows The Wall, man, that is some really depressing music if you're into that kind of thing. So I think maybe More of Me belongs on the Final Cut, except I wrote it to be a love song and maybe did not succeed. The idea of there being more of me was supposed to be this romantic gesture that I would never have to leave my partner's side because there would be more of me to leave behind, touring all the time and stuff like that. I like it. Skylar and Blaze. Dave's here too. Skylar, Dave and Duvall are here. You guys want to come in here and just do the Skylar thing? No, that won't work. This song also became our soap opera theme song. If you've seen those videos, if you haven't, maybe I'll try and find it and repost it for reference. So, what is it, Skylar? I have something to tell you. Your future is your past. I don't know what else to say about this song. I recorded it one time in the Third Man Records booth with their guitar, like 4 steps off on a little 7-inch record, and then presented it as the love song I had written for my partner, and she was not impressed, but probably because it's just so depressing. It's a just love song in a minor key. All right, without further ado, Skylar. Boiling water is burning. It's been raining for days, and there's nothing but bourbon that takes me away. I don't sleep when I lie myself down on a bed, someone else's hotel room. I'm restless again, like I'm spread too thin over too much. So you think you can see that you're bad for me, but I'm better than I sound, and I'm stronger than I found I can be. With looking straight back home where I leave you alone, wishing somehow that I could be more me to leave you when I go, more me to keep you when I'm gone. I'd like a slower life now and a faster one later. Wanna hurry up and get something done before the rest of my time has been purchased and sold to the most seemingly promising one. Is there any real truth in what we've been told? More of you when I'm lonesome and lost on the road. More of me when you're weary, protecting our home. More of us in our dreams of the things to come, when we're together again, at last, again. Is anything ever alright? Don't you wanna do something wrong, something bad, just to justify all of these feelings by stealing something that you never had? Is a heart really there? You can tell if you break it. More me, more me. More me, more. I forgot how a lot of it went on the guitar. I think it's because I was thinking about Dave playing it better than me. Well, I saw a comment earlier that it wouldn't be me if it wasn't messed up. That's reassuring that you all still stay tuned even when I am forgetful. More of me. That song changed in the studio because we recorded it incorrectly. I think about that a lot. A little dramatic, in my opinion. Guido, get this guy out of here. All right. Let's get some Billy Strings up in here. I miss my friend, the last person I played music with. Billy Strings. Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Billy Strings.
What's up, Paul?
How you doing, buddy?
Good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about you in the shower today for some reason, and my thoughts were, holy shit, the last gig that I played was with you and Anders. And now that seems like so long ago. And holy shit, it's been a while.
Yeah, time is really slippery, isn't it? You know, I've already thought a couple times about how I could have gone on like 2 of the longest tours that we ever go on and be home by now. Like, just such a bizarre thing. Yeah, we sort of started this together, and we had to experience the responsibility of canceling shows and not bringing people together when that's what we do.
Yeah, that sucked. We had 4 gigs planned, and we played one of them, and it was at the very beginning of this whole lockdown stuff, you know. So I don't know. We made the right move, I feel like, but damn, miss
Yeah,
playing
dude.
music with you, buddy.
Yeah, so let's talk some songs, man.
Yeah. Well, I wanted
Uh,
to,
Go ahead.
I wanted to do While I'm Waiting Here for one, because I think that's one of the, that song even like freaked me out when I wrote it in a way, which is weird. It like I didn't even mean to have like I didn't mean for it to be what it turned out to be, you know. Kind of like what you were saying, you know, you meant you were trying kind of for this other thing, but it turned out to be something a little bit more with a more kind of darker feeling to it.
Yeah. That maybe that song is kind of the opposite too. Like the subject matter is kind of dark, but then the chord progression is really beautiful and majory. And for me, the subject matter is supposed to be happy, but the chord progression is so dramatic and minory.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we played that song in the first Fab Run 3 years ago, and you taught it to us. It was pretty new. I don't think the album had come out yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're writing it, and you didn't have. It's kind of that you told me before. It's kind of that jail prisoner story, but you were just sort of exploring this metaphor and weren't really sure where you were going with it.
Well, it's like I wrote the first two verses or something one day, and then I tapped out, you know, and I was like, oh shit. And I came back the next day, and then when I wrote the, you know, the very first verse that I wrote, you know, the very next day, it was like kind of like this, you know, a plot twist, and it just kind of made the first two verses like different in a way. And yeah, I don't know. For the majority of the song, I was just thinking about like a love song, you know, somebody sitting in prison, missing his girl, wondering if she's gonna be there when he gets out. But then, you know, I set it down, and when I came back the next day, that's when I like, I don't know how that happened, but I just, I just kind of left it how I left it like that after I figured that one out. I was like, oh shit.
Do you often write that way, like start something and then leave it and come back to it, or are you like finisher straight through?
Yeah.
How's that process normally go for you?
If I'm lucky and I'm feeling good, I'll finish it, you know. But sometimes I'll get something down. Like I got some ideas now that shit. I was also thinking about this earlier. Like the ideas that I'm talking about. I hate myself. The ideas that I'm talking about right now that I have had for, gosh, probably a year now. And I mean, maybe longer, but it's like, you know, that's what I'm saying. I have this like idea for a song, or like almost a song, got it almost together, but I have procrastinated successfully for so long that it's, you know, it's like almost there. If I really sat down, kind
Yeah.
of.
Sometimes the idea needs to brew. The all for money idea I thought about for like years. And then one day just kind of started to put it together. That's when you're busy playing shows all the time, it's hard to, you're trying to like breathe this new life into your music that you already play every night. And then you have a commitment to playing X amount of hours per day for sound check in a show. And then, sometimes you get moved and write a song after the show maybe, but gosh, you need to take a break and live a little life too.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's kind of, I've been giving myself that during this time, you know, that it's like whenever we're on the road, it's like, oh, of course I'm not writing because we're on tour all the time. Like, when am I going to write, you know? But now that I'm home for so long and I haven't been really writing anything, I'm like kind of giving myself some slack because it's kind of okay to just set it down for a second, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, let it rip, buddy. Oh, you know what I was gonna tell you because you reminded me with the prisoner idea. I was gonna save Reverend for when you were on the show because I know you dig that tune. But when I sat down to write that, I was writing about like draft dodger or something, and like I had this was writing this narrative about something totally third person and abstract, just like an exercise. And it became so much more about responsibility and love and like the, you know, the way that you view the thing, you like impose your own morality on it or something. So I'm interested to hear the song in that light that you just brought it to.
Man, Reverend is the first song that really turned me on of a lot of the stuff, you know, out of the batch of songs that you've written. That's the first one that I really like locked into, because I mean, I would just like to listen to the beginning of that song so much, you know, just, and then the first words, couple beers with the Reverend, it's like I'm hooked instantly. And you do that a lot with a lot of your songs, and I admire that a lot. You know, just so many of your songs have this great first line that is like instantly I'm like, you know, I don't know, yeah, maybe it is that third person thing or what, but it's like couple beers with the Reverend, am I safe from the night? I'm like picturing this like dark tavern somewhere, it's storming outside, and you're like sitting in this lonesome little place, like having a beer with the preacher, you know. And it's like that is a lot of symbolism in itself. That, like, to me, that even, you know, like when I was a little kid and I listened to music, a lot of times I would picture stuff, especially ballads and stuff. It's like watching a movie to me, like Wild Bill Jones and stuff. Like even the beginning of Reverend almost is like a scene from a Western movie or something.
I
You know,
like
like
that.
in my head, you know, it's like when I hear that, that's what I see. But that shit, I don't know how you do that or if you even mean to do it, but a lot of your songs do that. I mean, I could list off more examples, but, you know, it's just, that's a really, really cool thing. And yeah, I don't know, man, I don't know if I've ever written a song that I'm really completely stoked on, really. I mean,
well, I know a lot of people are stoked on a lot of your songs, myself included.
well, I guess I'm lucky because
I think based on this story of the third person narrative kind of idea here, that this song and Reverend should be brother songs from now on.
Yes,
brother.
I'll give it a shot.
All right, man.
Yeah, this one's While I'm Waiting Here. It's been over 30 days, I've not received a letter. Now my fingernails are chewed down to the bone. So many different ways I've tried to say I'm sorry while I'm left here in this safe right alone. It's not the four walls moving in that tortures me. It's not the cold cement or shivers down my spine. It's just them visions in my head that make me paranoid and wonder if when I get out, will you be mine? I never should have treated you so bad, my love, I'm sorry. I was broke, but I can see that now it's true. My picket fence has turned to razor wire, and now I'm waiting trial for things you have to know I did not do. If I could get a word with you, I'd be just fine. Just any envelope with both your name and mine would be enough to keep me going. In a world where I'm left knowing there's something more to live for just outside. Seems like the last time, feels like the first. Though I've had bad things, this has to be my worst. I'm left thinking of you, dear, while I'm waiting here. I haven't seen the sun since it rested on your shoulder while we walked along that vacant riverside. They carried me away to a place where I'll get older if I cannot prove to them you never died. Seems like the last time, feels like the first. Though I've had bad days, this has to be my worst. I'm never thinking of you, baby, while I'm with you. There you go. You got your own special ending on your show, Paul.
I loved it, dude. I loved it.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. So he says that he didn't do the things. Just what did he or not? Is he innocent or is he lying?
That's up to you to decide.
I was hoped you said you would say you didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to me. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about when I mean, like, when I wrote the song. The first two verses, there's no inclination that this guy's twisted at all. He's just mournful and he misses his girl and he's locked up and he's sad about it and he's freaking out. But the last verse comes along and it's like, what the fuck is he in? You know, the second verse, he's talking about, man, he's waiting on a letter. He's like, she's out there, man. She could just write me and then they would know that, you know, like, this is all fake or something. I think, who knows, man? Maybe he's in denial or maybe he's doesn't remember what happened or something, you know.
Yeah, I love it, man.
But then
for you sing it, does it change for you when you sing it night to night too? It's like, depends on the mood you're in, what it feels like.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes we take it for a ride, you know, and sometimes we don't. I kind of like to not. I mean, but sometimes we do, but it's one of those songs where we used to like almost break down and go off into space for a while, but it didn't really make sense for me to do it in that song, to have like any kind of big jam in the middle or anything. But yeah. Sometimes it just does make sense when you're on stage and it just happens. And then when you just go off and it's like, okay, tonight it makes sense to do that right there because for whatever reason.
If you're feeling it in a way, it doesn't, the jam doesn't have to be a contrived thing that fits the theme or something.
Yeah, I think, you know, we got to a point where we would almost take it out like every night. And I was like, let's not do that unless it is necessary.
Feels right.
Yeah.
Like with this last record and more recently, is your writing style changed a bit now that the band is more like kind of rock and roll and loose like that? And like, do you write with like those open sections in mind, or do you feel like you're writing for the show more than you used to be? Is that a thing for you?
I think anytime I have any thoughts like that, I feel like they're not from a solid place. Like, if ever I feel like I'm scheming, like, okay, what kind of song could I write that people are really gonna like, or you know, like, what song I'm gonna envision right now. I'm gonna write a song and envision playing it in front of thousands of people. What's gonna really rock them? You know, if I feel like I'm doing that, it's like that's to me like there's something false about that. I guess when I write my best stuff, I'm usually just like pacing back and forth and like looking at my reflection in the microwave and just kind of. I have to be alone too. Like I'm totally embarrassed to even write anything, even like in front of Allie or just like mess around and sing like stuff. Like I need to be totally secluded. It's like I'm too embarrassed.
I know that.
Have you run into that? Like because you're with Mango, you know, and
yeah,
I mean, even doing this thing right now, like Allie's like over in a different room or something. Because as we've done these videos and stuff like that, I've realized that I'm like. You know, I don't know. It's just I get embarrassed about shit or like feel weird or you know I don't know.
I feel the same way about writing. And when Michelle and I started living together, I feel like I slowed down a bit. Or when she would go to work, I would write a little bit. And you know, and when it's also just that when we're together too, I'm not going to be like alleyways. When I'm not going to be like, hey, I need to go be alone downstairs and write for a while. Like, could you just buzz off and do your own thing? You know, it's just like life is happening, and I've gotten a little bit better about it and more used to it. I wrote Ashes. It's called. We used to call it Ashes in the Moonlight. I don't even remember. I wrote that about her in front of her, and just messing around on the piano, and then it was like really liberating for me to break down that barrier. Most of the time she's just in the kitchen cleaning up my mess from dinner anyway and not listening to me probably. So
Yeah, I know. But that's the thing. It's like, I feel like even if I am trying to write or something and Allie's just over here, you know, or like anybody, if I'm like, you know, on the tour bus or something, or if I'm in the green room or anywhere,
yeah,
and there's people, I can't really, because when I write, a lot of times I'm just like, almost like being like childish or foolish about it and just like, you know, singing stuff that doesn't, sometimes I'm not even saying words when I'm starting to figure out a melody or something, you know, and you just want to be alone when you do that shit. I don't know. I think so. Anyways.
Well, you like when you're coming onto it and you know you don't have it yet.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to feel like you need to be defending how awesome this idea is that you're trying to carve out. It's like it's like Michelangelo or something. Like, you look at the piece of marble and it's like, what, that's what you're doing, you know? And it's like, no, just give me some time. I'm gonna carve something out of this bigger blank thing.
Right. Totally.
You weren't writing songs for a while, like a long time though, right? You're just playing bluegrass, and then you made a shift to start writing your own songs. And was that like, were you playing bluegrass at that time, or were you doing angsty teen metal kind of stuff when you started writing, or where were you at when that shift happened?
I was very much like playing bluegrass, you know. I mean, I think when I started writing stuff, it was really around the time that I was like with Don Julian and you know, probably around the time I first met you and stuff. Because I had been playing bars and, you know, breweries and taverns and shit, playing old bluegrass songs all the time. And it got to a point where it's like, you got to come up with some of your own shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to do you.
Yeah, so then it was like, it's still I still feel really timid as a songwriter, man. Like, you know, not just in that I'm embarrassed to like sing in front of anybody when I'm writing and stuff, but like timid as far as, like I said earlier, like I don't think I'm really there yet as far as like what I'm trying to do, you know.
That's good. I mean, getting there sounds like a really scary feeling.
Yeah, I don't think you probably ever will, I guess, and maybe that's a good thing, but I would like to write a song all by myself that's like, man, I stand by that tune. I am proud of it.
Yeah, with time, maybe you find more of that appreciation in what you've already done.
Yeah, that happens too. And for instance, this kid sent me a message on Instagram earlier talking about the next song that I want to play. But he's like, man, this, you know, I just wanted to let you know that this has gotten me through like a lot of like shit that I've been holding on to, and just this, like I'm kind of like on this, you know, he's like letting go of some shit. And he told me that the song has really been helpful for him and stuff. And so when that sort of stuff happens, it's like, that's when I can pat myself on the back, I feel like.
Yeah, and there's a lot of that for you, man. And I think it, you know, I tend to like, in this show and for my style, I tend to like be lyric focused because it's like the thing that I'm more interested in or something. But I rarely talk about the music part of it too. Like, it could be the guitar solo in Home or something that like helps get people through some shit. Like, you're writing more than just good songs and good lyrics. You're writing good guitar solos and all this stuff too. And man, it's such a cool thing when you can become a conduit for someone's release.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I don't know, like a lot of the songs on the album Home and stuff, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't feel like I spend as much time on my songs than a lot of people do or something. Like, I just kind of spit it out and just, I'm like, okay with it, you know, like, I like feeling vulnerable like that, though. You know, as much as I say I don't necessarily, like, you know, love all the songs that I've written, you know, as much as I say that, I also love, like, feeling vulnerable and just, you know, not spending, you know, sitting there and being like, oh, how do I make this perfect or whatever, just like, almost like going with your first instinct kind of thing and just letting it flow and getting out of my own way. That whole thinking about, like, is this good enough, or is this gonna, you know, is this hip enough or anything? It's like, if you even think that stuff, you could probably never finish the song.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
just gotta eventually be like, dude, this is what it is, and that's what it's like. So,
It's like your songwriting is a live cut, not a like overproduced track.
pretty much, like,
Let the vibe of how you wrote it come through by not over editing it.
yeah, even when it comes to the verses and stuff, like, I rarely have more verses than what I, you know, it's not like I have like even more stuff, and a lot of times on the records and stuff, I mean, I didn't even have all the lyrics necessarily all the way worked out. Like, I was just listening to I never listened to it, but I wanted to give it a listen before I played it on here so I don't forget the words, or maybe I won't forget the words. But, you know, there's little words and stuff that I have changed when I'm like singing live. There's little stuff that when I sing it live, I've changed it to make sense in a different way. And then I listen to the album cut and it's like, oh, that's what I said on the album? Like, that's not what I say live, but oh well.
Yeah, the song grows up.
Like,
Yeah, go ahead.
I've seen people like kind of chat about that online and stuff. Like, well, on the album he said this, but when they sing it live, he says this, and it's like, yeah, that's the whole thing, man. Sometimes I forget a whole verse. Sometimes I sing the second verse third and third verse first, and, you know, sometimes I just fuck it all up, and that's what happens.
We all fuck it up, man. Before you play it, I wanted to ask you, 'cause, like I mentioned, that the music part doesn't often come up on this show very much. It's just like all lyrics and process of creativity. But learning a bunch of your songs, like for the Fab thing and for playing with you, you have all these like really cool arrangement things where there's like an extra beat or an extra measure and just like kind of some just odd creative things that make normal forms uniquely yours. Is that something that happens when you're writing like naturally, or is the band kind of like getting into some arrangement stuff when you record that's like, what if there's a fill there or something?
Well, one thing that like pops into my head is, you know, on Meet Me at the Creek, there's this little like, sometimes there's just a little guitar lick that I have to throw in there just to get the last word in. And then, you know, so there's those extra measures on there, and it's like, sorry guys, this is how it goes in my head, so you gotta just play these weird measures for a sec.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really creative. What's the title of the one I'm thinking of that's an F sharp minor that we learned recently that it's got that really odd time thing in the beginning? That you need to use the lyrics for. Yeah. Yeah, what's the title there?
Long Forgotten Dream.
Yeah, Long Forgotten Dream. It's so cool. It's really unusual. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just unusual to me. I don't know. It's cool.
Well, yeah, the verses on that song, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, when we were doing that, when we were recording it, we hadn't settled on anything. Like, we were just like, you know, and I knew I wanted to do some stuff like, I wanted to just vamp on it. Like, in the metal bands I used to be in and shit, we used to just be like, you know, and just like stay on the one. Mm-hmm. Just stay on the one chord. So I'm like, let's do that. Like, you know, with our acoustic instruments, let's just, would you listen when you decide to whisper English fade? And just like hang there, you know, for a while.
It's just an intuitive feeling thing you do.
Yeah. But also I don't count shit like that. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. When I write, I'm not counting either. Sometimes when we arrange, we like cut measures and do some stuff like to like I don't not just to make it more interesting or whatever. But
Yeah,
if I wrote it, I don't have to count it because I just feel it.
yeah, yeah. And then the other guys have to figure out what the hell you were thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like that guy. I was like texting Jared while I was learning that song, and I was like, "Damn, bro, how'd you chop on this?"
Yeah.
All right, man. What else are you gonna play for us?
Well, away from the mire is another big, like,
Yeah,
if there ever was a song that I was proud of, it would be either one of these two. And
I thought about playing this. I thought about playing this song recently for like one of my streams or something, and I got intimidated.
you got it, man.
It's not over yet, man. I'm gonna be in this basement for a while.
Yeah. This one is really like, this song like taught me some stuff about myself, or it like, I think I was writing this song as a message to other people to let go of shit. But one night when I was on stage, and I'm actually doing great now, but like last year and stuff, I was struggling with some anxiety and shit. And one night we were on stage and I was just whooped from the road and was singing this song, and like I accepted the message.
Mm-hmm.
Like after like playing it for weeks and weeks, all of a sudden one night I heard it and I was like, wait a minute, like, you didn't just write this for everybody else. Like, you wrote it for you, bud. And, like, you need to let go of shit too,
Yeah, yeah, man. I have some songs for me that In Control's the same way for me that way. Like when I sing it, it like settles me.
Yeah.
This song was the first one that jumped out to me on the album too. That the refrain, the something about the spring lied to us again this year. Can't seem to face the fear. I just love that line, and it's not just the lyrics. It's like the delivery. It's the melody. It gives me that like feeling. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a good song, man.
Well, I wrote this one when I was I had a little spat with a family member, and it was just like we weren't really seeing eye to eye and stuff, and I just was kind of like almost pissed off when I wrote it, and it's just weird how I didn't mean for it to necessarily like be what it is. I think that maybe that never is the case. You're trying to write one thing, but maybe it comes out. Or the other thing is everybody interprets it their own way. Like a lot of your stuff is so great like that. It's kind of vague enough, some of the stuff anyways is like vague enough to where it's like you can relate to it. A much broader spectrum of people can relate to it, or like relate to certain instances or certain phrases in the song or whatever.
Yeah, I think people talk about that a lot about songs in general, and in having this show and talking with different songwriters, and it occurs to me more and more that it doesn't really matter how specific the song is. People sort of get what they want from it. Like when Nathan's coming on, I was listening to an old song of his that I recalled listening to on loop one time when I was going through something. And it's like, it's not at all about what I was going through. The lyrics are completely irrelevant, but something about the way the melody and the vibe of the song is just like did something for me emotionally. And I put it on today and I hadn't heard it in a long time and my arms goosebumped. And then I listened to what he was talking about, and it's like irrelevant to like the feeling I was having. And art is just, Dave says he loves art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does you've been writing for a while and you've been on the road for a while, and bless you, Paul.
Thanks, brother.
But like a song like Tuesday Letter or something, does that one like is that like nostalgic for you now? Because it's been like so long since you wrote it, or you remember the old, like the early days when you of Green Sky when you sing it. For me, like when I hear songs like that you guys recorded early on, I remember you guys did I don't know, it was just when you and Dave played at Hoxeyville as a duo or something, but you guys played a couple of like deep cuts,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like transported back to like the early days of Green Sky and like just that whole vibe.
Yeah, there is kind of a nostalgic thing that happens. I think like we, and as we go on tour more and more and try and mix up the set list, we're like we reach for those old songs and like sort of feel an obligation to play them. And I think as the band grew up, there's a lot of those older songs that I didn't want to play as much because I didn't think they were as good because I wrote more songs and got better at songwriting.
Right.
And
yeah,
the newer songs,
new shit, yeah.
yeah, the newer songs had like instrumental stuff we wanted to show off or lyrical ideas that were more relevant to me. And then now sometimes I play those old songs and there's some simplicity in them that I enjoy in a different way. Yeah, Can't Make Time, I wrote, as a love song for a relationship that no longer exists and didn't want to play it for a really long time. And sort of had to play it sometimes. And I remember one night on stage singing it and being like, this is a good song to sing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I needed to just like detach myself from my own shit attached to the song, like,
Right, yeah.
and just like let it have a new life for me too.
Totally, man.
Yeah, dude.
Well, this one, yeah, it's kind of weird how it did that. I was just, it's one of those moments on stage where you like almost start tearing up and shit, and it's like you're in, all these people are out front, thousands of people in front of you or whatever, and you're having this like you said, like goosebump moment and like tearing up and like having this like emotional experience that like nobody knows that you're like going through that,
Yeah, is it like that for you when you sing a lot of your songs on stage? Like you really like relive the emotions, and I mean,
if I'm playing any good, it is.
Yeah, that's good. It's that way for me too. Like even if I'm distracted and like I don't know, like didn't get time for dinner or sound check was shit, and there's all these distractions. Like then when I'm singing the song, I mean, and this is not always. Sometimes I have my moments where I'm distracted by whatever, but
yeah,
I really try and like put myself back into either the place I wrote it, the place it's about, or the emotional state. It's like this method acting kind of thing.
I think that's a really important thing, that I learned early on from my dad and stuff. It's like if it's a happy song, sing it happy and fun and a little bit of maybe even childish, like give it characteristics like that. But if it's a sad song about some dude drinking in the bar because his girl, took off on the bus with some other guy, you gotta imagine you're him.
Yeah. Put yourself in the moment.
Yeah, totally. And then another thing that I like to kind of try to focus on, at least for performing anyways, is clarity as far as just portraying the idea of the song, even the lyrical content, but just like, like looking people in the eye and singing right to them and just like, like I mean this, like I'm singing this right to you. Like, are you getting it? Like, just trying to send it right out there and like really focusing on that clarity, whether it's like, it could be even an instrumental song, but like when I'm playing my guitar, just to look out there and, a lot of times it helps me to find one person that's really, everybody else is dancing and la la la, woo! And there's this one guy that's just, and then I'll lock in with him and it's like, yeah, motherfucker, like and then I'll just try to give it to him, find somebody to like shake up a little bit or something.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Yeah, but that's off topic a little bit. Anyways,
no, we're all the off topic is on topic on this show, man. We just follow the path to the ideas. It's about the conversation and the songs.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's see if I can remember the words to this one. It's been so long. Remember the time we were both out of eye, and we both knew the reason why. Seemed like we faced the world on our own. Before we collide, and we just took a moment to let the reflection of the and remember the path that we chose. Spring light to us this year again. Can't stand to face the fear again. Will you always laugh about those things? It's enough to make a man feel sour. Burning minutes every day by the hour. Just to end up gone like everything. Let go of the pain. Hold on to the rhythms consciously held back in. Drowning in sorrow that's long been at rest. The past is a hell that can keep up inside. So let it run to the best. It's the reason controls it too. Scream loud to us again this year. Still I can't stand to face the fear. Will you always laugh about those things? It's enough to make a man stay humble. Every day is just a new chance to stumble. Just to end up gone like everything else. Yeah.
Uh, You could always laugh about those things. That's the other line I really like from that song. There's something like real specific about it that is also universal. It's really cool.
I wrote that song about, it was kind of for my brother in a way, and he's always laughing shit off. That's kind of, like he'd come home with 2 black eyes because he got drunk and got in a fight with his best friend, but it's just a joke to him.
Yeah, just laugh it off.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, but dude, it's not that funny.
It's not a good thing necessarily. Yeah, I like that line. There's something simple about it that just means so much more.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from. I think it was just a different way to say, like, yeah, just maybe you're not taking things seriously or something. Mm-hmm. That's not like, that's maybe what I meant when I wrote it down, but that's not what it means when I hear it now. It means something else. Like it means everything brushed off your shoulder. Like you never let shit phase you.
Yeah, it does have sort of like a triumphant meaning in the song.
Yeah, like.
It depends on the mood you're in when you're listening to it, though, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's good to see you. Thanks for stopping by to talk about your songs for a bit.
Thanks. It wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be.
Hey, we keep it simple, man.
I miss you, dude. I can't wait to. You've never been out front at a Greensky show, but that's where I want to be.
Yeah, I want to be outside at out front at one of your shows. So let's play a show and on stage beside you. So let's do all of those things as soon as we can.
Yeah, man. So many good times, Paul. So many. Yeah, it's a good time for me to reflect on that kind of shit right now too. It's just like, because I was like working really hard and kind of shot out of a cannon there, and trying to keep my shit together basically. So this is a great time for me to like really reflect on the last couple of years. Like, holy shit! But I'm I'm doing that, thinking about all the good times we've had, just picking and playing shows and playing for big crowds of just amazing people.
Yeah, people who love it and have a lot of fun enjoying it, myself included, yourself included.
Yeah.
Your band's done some great things, man. I'm hella proud of you as a friend and songwriter and musician, all the things, dude.
Thanks, man. Well, it means a lot.
Send my best to your lady and your crew there in Nashville. If I come to town soon to do some music, not in front of people, I'll call you. We'll play.
Are you gonna do that?
As soon as it's safe, we want to get together and start working on a record. So we're just, there's no rush, I suppose.
Yeah.
But also,
so you guys probably will rehearse.
The need is maybe.
If so,
I'll call you.
Allie knows how to make elevated mac and cheese.
Yes. All right, I love you, brother.
All right. See you
Take
later,
care, buddy.
man.
Billy Strings, y'all. Oh, that's the wrong button. Which one is
Love
it?
you
This
guys.
one? I don't even know how to get rid of you. It's this one?
We can just stay here.
Oh, it's this one. I love you, buddy. Okay, you guys. Thanks for coming. Episode 8. All 4 songs. This will be on the IGTV, I guess. That's the new thing. Also, if you've missed previous episodes, there's been a lot of these. We've done a lot of talking about songs. There's been some songs played along the way. You can find them on YouTube. I think my YouTube name somehow is P0 Hoffma. Anyway, you'll find it. Search my name. Use all 4 with the number 4. That's me. Thanks to Nathan Moore, Billy Strings. See you next week.